Welcome to Joe Stonner Boxing. You know you've had a good night's boxing when the undercard of a main event is terrific, but the main event exceeds all expectations. And that's what happened between Jack Rafferty and Mark Chamberlain. Rafferty retained his WBC and Commonwealth super lightweight belts, the undefeated Jack Rafferty, that is. He'd retained them with a majority draw over Mark Chamberlain, who I had ahead in this fight. I had him on 115, 113, maybe 116, 112. I don't know. I didn't tot it up, but I was thinking, he's ahead. But I'm not complaining about a draw because this was a fantastic fight between two absolute warriors. Okay, where do we begin? Well, Chamberlain came in with one defeat. He lost to Josh Padley, a 10-round decision, unanimous decision. Padley undefeated. At the time, undefeated, and he got done when at Wembley Stadium. This was back in a year. It must be getting on for a year ago now, maybe a little bit, maybe 10 months, something like that, ago. And it was considered an upset. And then he came back with a little eight-rounder against a journeyman. That was earlier this year. But going for Jack Rafferty's belts, it had, terrific fight written all over it, but it exceeded, like I say, the expectations. Chamberlain is 26. It's a very, very good fighter. He'd won a few regional belts, I think. Not regional belts, what do you call them? Those sort of secondary trinkets that they dish out with the IBF and the WBC and all that. I don't really pay a great deal of attention, but they do get you world ranked. And at the time, Chamberlain was world ranked, and he was looking possibly to have if he'd beaten Padley, to perhaps had a title shot, or, he was getting very close to it. Lost, so snakes and ladders, down the stake you go to the start again. Maybe not the start again. He's got Queensbury behind him. But a factor of that may have been the weight. He was at lightweight. And now he's up at 140, and he even looks big for 140, and he certainly looks like his energy and his power, and even maybe his chin, have benefited from rising to that higher weight, because he was in against a real pressure fight. Jack Rafferty, 26 KOs with 17 by stoppage, still undefeated. Now he's got that one draw on his record. But this guy really puts heat on you. He's a walk forward, heavy-handed guy, probably hits a bit harder than the 17 KOs in 26 wins suggests. But he's not the most cultured of stylists. That's not to say he hasn't got skills. He has got skills, good skills. But it's really the pressure that he wants to put on you. He wants to, drag you into a war, which he most certainly did with Chamberlain. And he carries the weight of his punch quite late, because he's had a couple of ninth round stoppages, stops people in the middle rounds. In other words, he grinds you down. And it looked for the first 4 rounds as if Chamberlain, even though he was winning the rounds, and looked the more textbook, he looked like he had better textbook skills, the more cultured, the more schooled fighter. Nevertheless, you got the feeling he's fighting at a pace he doesn't like at, because Rafferty is constantly marching forward, walking him down, and was landing some good individual punches. But you thought the moment Chamberlain slows down, those individual heavy hands are going to become combinations. And that happened in the 5th round, because Rafferty was, started to really leather Chamberlain and hurt him to the body with a hook. And you thought, it looked like Chamberlain was not unraveling, but it looked very uncomfortable in that 5th round. You think there's another 7 rounds to go. I should have mentioned, actually, that Chamberlain picked up a couple of cuts over the right eye in the first 3 rounds. So even though he was winning the rounds and boxing, very, very well, he was picking up injuries. One of them, I think, was a clash of heads. I don't know about the second one. I didn't see how the second cut happened. But I was thinking, he's getting some wear and tear on him. How's he going to do in the second half of this fight? And Chamberlain, that's what, from the 5th onwards, Chamberlain came back into it with a vengeance. Chamberlain or I should say, excuse me, Rafferty came back into it with a vengeance. And Chamberlain, when you look at his record, he's had some 10-rounders, but I can't remember him doing 12 previously. I don't think he did 12 previously. He's done 12 previously. So this was in a sense unknown territory for him. He's a southpaw, which it counters Jack's orthodox stance. Jack is a bit older. I think he's 29 to Mark Chamberlain's 26. Rafferty looks shorter, but he's stockier. That's not to say Chamberlain looked like a small 140-pounder. He didn't. But these two, they went at it. They went at it. And again, Chamberlain's output was immense, but the more hurtful punches, generally speaking, I thought Rafferty landed probably the heavier hands overall. He was hurting Chamberlain more than Chamberlain was hurting him, and Chamberlain was landing a few flush punches, but mostly it was the output, and I think that's why I gave Chamberlain the win. You know, I didn't tie up the scorecard. I think it was a 115, 130, which I agreed with one of the judges. The one judge that had it a win was for Chamberlain, 115, 130, and I thought that was right. But again, I'm not complaining about a draw, because these guys, they let it hang out, and it was, again, throughout the whole fight, constant stalking, constant walking down by Rafferty, and some really lovely slick skills from Chamberlain, who just when you thought he was wilting, beginning to sort of fade a bit, came back and showed a ton of guts. Both these guys did. And the idea that there's no losers in this fight, I know fighters don't like draws, the fans don't really like them a lot of the time, but sometimes you just have to say, well, maybe a draw is a fair result. And they've got to do it again. Christ almighty, I mean, this was a terrific fight. They've got to do it again. I can't imagine that Queensbury aren't going to match him up again, because this was marvellous stuff. It really was. And how many times have we said it? You know, British title fights, Commonwealth title fights, they get two fighters together, very, very evenly matched in these British title fights, more often than not, and they produce the goods. And this was the goods, trust me. The whole card was terrific. You know, Zach Miller, by the way, I kept calling Zach Miller Zach Parker in my review, but sorry about that. We'll put that down to early dementia. But Zach Miller beat William Woodstock. That was a good fight. Jack Turner showed a lot of ability, stopping an undefeated Argentinian. I mean, we had some good fights on this card, real grinders, real grueling fights. But this was a deserved main event. So go and have a look at it. It's on DAZN. I think you'll enjoy it. Well, I know you'll enjoy it. Try and see it in whatever way you care to. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you watched it, and I'm sure many of you did, give me your comments. Fight of the year contender? Let's get maybe domestically, certainly, but let me know what you think. And yeah, comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Those likes, they count them for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they help the channel. And subscribe as well. Come and join us. Join the channel. Join Joe Stunner Boxing and spread the word about us. Always appreciated. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Great fight. Good card. Great card, in fact. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.